So try this quote on for size. We don't come to church to worship. Rather, we come because we are worshipers. In other words, what Andy's saying here, that we're living this worship life all the time. Actually, an author I love uses the phrase continual outpouring. So God has given us this bubbling up inside of us that we want to pour our lives out to something. He's obviously calling us to Jesus Christ. So we don't come to church to worship, but we come because we are worshipers. I don't know who wrote that quote. I heard it one time and it stuck. It's just stuck with me every time. But a little story here. A year and a half ago, Kelly and my life turned totally upside down. We had been working for 10 years at a church that was our childhood church. We both grew up at this church. And then just through the course of several changes, we were transitioning away. And there was like a 4 or 5 month period where it was just grueling, where really everyone in the congregation knew that we were transitioning, but we were still there leading every Sunday. Has anyone been through a job transition in the room here? Yeah, and it's just hard. And this was the ministry version of that. And it would get so difficult on end of the week, Saturday night even. I have to go there and lead again. But I knew that God was transitioning us. It was just awful. But if it hadn't have been for several patterns and habits of good things in our life that Kelly and I had put in place, of reading the Word and prayer, and even surrounding ourselves with spiritual mentors, and I think this is the kingpin. We really make it a point to observe the Sabbath in our life. God has set aside just that one day a week for us to recalibrate our hearts and see what He wants for us. And it's actually a privilege. It's not a chore. But we remain diligent with that through that whole season. And I think that's what God used to help us get through that difficult transition. Actually, a phrase came to my heart on Saturday night, and actually sometimes I would feel it as I was driving in on Sunday morning. My heart change and a peace come over it. I would say, we're going to see the people we love. We're going to sing the songs that we love to sing to the God that we love. And that's something that even translates here. We don't come to church to worship. We come because we are worshipers. We will approach Sunday morning totally differently, totally more healthy, when we have spent our time in healthy patterns throughout the week. It's almost like eating. And in America, we have the biggest buffet set before us. We've got books. We've got Christian radio. We've got mentors all around. We have freedom of speech. You could come and talk to the pastoral staff anytime. You're in a church that has deep spiritual heritage and roots, people and relationships. We have this whole buffet before us of spiritual input that we can be eating and feasting on and gaining the nutrients from. If the only time that you're eating is on Sunday morning, that's not enough. And you're not going to be satisfied by it. So when you eat, and no one can make you eat either. That's the thing. You could have this whole buffet set before you and not eat. You have to choose to eat. So feed your soul. Find a pattern in your life. Start small and see how God changes how you approach Sunday morning. We don't come to church to worship. We come because we are worshipers.